God bless you. God bless you, and welcome to another podcast. Welcome. Today, everyone, I just want to thank you, my people from Barbados, my people from Washington, D.C., Brooklyn, New York, everyone that joins Elder Kirk and listens to the podcast. A simplistic word with Elder Dwight Kenneth Kirk. I truly appreciate you. On today, are you indoctrinated? Let me help you with that. Are you indoctrinated? Let Elder Kirk help you with that. Now, we're not going to just talk about indoctrinated in the church. Or we're going to deal with it on today. We're going to be up in here. I want you to follow Elder Kirk, okay? A little side note before we begin. I want y'all to know one thing. Elder Kirk was getting ready, and one thing I want you to understand, these podcasts are therapy. Believe it or not. It's therapy. It's all of the years of believing the wrong things. Now that I believe in the right things, life is going pretty good. Just putting it out there. For Elder Kirk, these speakers are therapy. And as Elder Kirk grow, you grow. And Elder Kirk always says, I'm on Facebook. I would love your comments, or if you leave a comment on the Spreaker, I would appreciate, because it's about growth. If Elder Kirk's always talking and I'm not hearing from the people that are listening, or Elder Kirk, this has worked for me, or Elder Kirk, I think you're crazy, it's all good. That's all right. So, today we're going to deal with indoctrination. The definition of indoctrination is the process of teaching a person or group to accept a set of beliefs uncritically. That means I'm going to give it to you till you no longer criticize it. You're going to fight me. Come on now. When I tell you this is what it is, I'm going to do it until you become indoctrinated. That means uncritically. A person that's outside is going to be a critic, but the person that's inside believes it wholeheartedly, and you cannot tell them any different, just like a cult. I believe what you're saying so much that there's no way in the world that it can be wrong. That's uncritically. No way. No questions. You can't. I done told you this thing so well, Raven. There's no other thing in the universe. That's indoctrination. And that's why they go to church every Sunday. They've been indoctrinated. They don't think that there's nothing else but I better go to the church Sunday, because if I don't go to church Sunday, I'm gonna die and go to hell. I know y'all, Elder Kirk, I'm gonna unindoctrinate you until you get the doctrine of God. Not the doctrine of man, but the doctrine of God. Now that's how I want to be indoctrinated. I want to be indoctrinated in God, not in man. Because if you get a clearer understanding, and like I was talking to my daughter earlier, when I fell back, all I knew was the doctrine of man. Because they pretty much told me what God wanted. I studied my word, but they told me that this is how praise and worship goes. This is how God responds. This is what you do if you want to get God, and there's no other way. So Elder Kirk was indoctrinated. Go ahead and stand up and stretch if you need to, baby. So the question, are you indoctrinated? Then let Elder Kirk unindoctrinate you. Now, That's why we talk about a personal relationship. Understand this. How can I have a personal relationship when the pastor is there in the middle between me and God? Now, I know, hey, Elder Kirk, come on now. I'm not talking to you people that are, well versed. I'm talking about the people that are hurt and trying to get out of this gray area and go ahead and touch God. But they can't because they believe that I'm going to have to go back to the church and I'm going to have to find a good pastor, and that's the only way. Hey, find a good church. But remember, I said this before, the pastor needs to stay in their position. They're not God. That's going to happen. See, Elder Kirk was messed up. I thought I was good. I'm a pretty good praise and worship leader. I love to sing in the choir. I didn't let things mess with my focus. But I was indoctrinated. Because I thought no matter how much I may say, hey, I didn't agree with that, I still went back. See, Elder Kirk was guilty of the same things that I talk about. Of course I talk junk. But guess what? I went back. That's not changing anything. I don't like what the pastor said. And I don't care if they find out or not. Whatever. Oh, hey, Pastor, God bless you. I love you. Come on now. What kind of stuff is that? Elder Kirk was indoctrinated. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? We have to change the culture. We cannot keep doing the same exact things. Remember, we talked about this some time ago. The superintendent of schools, which is here in Cumberland County, which is not now the one before the one is now, he said the old way of teaching is done away with. Japan showed us that. The old way of teaching, so the church can't just continue to teach the same old way. There's too much history. There's too much going on. But you know what? The church just stays in that little bubble. They don't get out of the bubble. They won't do it. Now, I need you to understand something. Now, I don't want you to get confused. I said, you shouldn't change the church to a club to appease and stuff like that. I still believe that. I still believe that. But all of the rich history that we have that nobody knows about. And please accept my offense. I'm not talking about Moses. See, everybody knows about Moses and Noah. Do you understand? We've heard the revelation. And there's more to come. We are so stuck on, that's all we can do is the 66 books, that you are just cut off from everything else. And when you took the class of theology, you learned so much more than just the 66 books. So, see, that's what we're talking about. When we talk about all you doing is staying in this same old circle. Now, we're going to get to Elder Kirk posted, but it touched me because I talked to a few younger people, and a lot of times the things that we talk about, they understand where Elder Kirk is coming from. Because where I'm coming from, the majority of traditional people don't want to hear. They'll say, Elder Kirk, you're wrong. First of all, you're not paying tithes to anybody, so you need to shut up and go to hell. See, you got to understand. There are people that are against Elder Kirk. They're not going to listen to Elder Kirk because they are about pay your tithes so I can pay the money in the building. It has nothing to do with your soul salvation. This has nothing to do with you going to heaven. People, are you indoctrinated? All of this, if you would just step back and write this stuff down on a piece of paper, you would be like, what in the world is going on around here? You must wake up. Elder Kirk is here to make sure that you're unindoctrinated and that you wake up and know that God is yours. I was talking to my main man today. And I said, bro, I just talk about a personal relationship. You don't owe me no tithes. You don't owe me anything. But see, what we get away from, Jesus didn't talk about tithes. Jesus didn't say, hey, I'm going to build my church so y'all can come here and then that's all you're going to do. No, he never went to the church but a couple of times. I'm sorry. He went a couple of times to the synagogue, but he was not there every single time. But the way Paul taught, we were like, oh, what Paul said. How can you mess with Paul? You forgot about Jesus. Yahweh, for my people that know about the letter J, wasn't created then, so his name was Yahweh. Oh, Elder Kirk, who you think you are? I do my studies. I know some peoples. You must understand as the motivation begins to and Elder Kirk's not just, I promise you I'll bring the speaker with me everywhere I go, wherever I speak, but you have to get this thing where the church, that building, is not your only avenue to God. Go in your yard and get on your knees. Go in your closet and get on your knees. Fast. Ask God for help. But instead, let me go to the church. Because the pastor told me if there's anything I need, just give him a call. Why? Because that's my God now. Are you indoctrinated? Am I confusing you, everybody? I shouldn't be. You've been messing with Elder Kirk for a while now. This is personal. Elder Kirk tells you, hey, go to a good Bible study, but make sure you can ask questions and make sure they answer your questions. Now, I've said this before, and Elder Kirk usually doesn't do it, but I should. I'm still going to get to my post. But you need to go to a church where, like Elder Kirk said before, you can ask questions and you're growing and you're learning. Growing and learning isn't important anymore. Do you know the only people that are growing and learning are the leadership? Because the leadership are right under the pastor. The regular people are not under the pastor. The pastor is supposed to teach the leadership, then the leadership go with the people. But instead, the leadership stays under the pastor. Well, I'm going to get all the teaching I can. I'm going to get all, where the pastor going? I'm going to be right there. How many of your people did you take with you to go hear the pastor preach? No, never thought about that. I'm going to go because I was told that I have to be there because of my ministerial duties. Oh, it's going to be revealed every single time Elder Kirk gets on the speaker until people begin to wake up. See, people are waking up, but the thing about it is, now that we're waking up, Elder Kirk talked about this in my earlier speakers. Now we're woke up, but we're smoking weed, getting drunk, messing around, talking about, yeah, I'm good, I love God. Come on. Now, I said there's nothing wrong with my medicinal, I said my mama, I'm sorry, medicinal, marijuana for sickness and things like that. I don't see nothing wrong with that. But, all this recreational acting crazy, because marijuana doesn't do the same thing with everybody. So, we have to understand that we are indoctrinated, everybody. We talk about politics. Hold on. Let Elder Kirk slow this thing down. Right? Hear me? We're going to go on. The site is called Atlanta Black Star. It says 6 reasons young black people are leaving the church. And it's not just black people. It's a lot of young people. I was telling my daughter, I said, y'all are very smart. Y'all are very smart. And the majority of you came up in church. My baby girl is 17. She will be 18 in January of 2018. And I guarantee you she was one of the best students in Sunday school because she studied.
I was the only one, actually.
Come on.
I was the only one.
Only one. Hungry because daddy took it. And she has the same hunger that her dad has for the word. How can you have Bible study Sunday school and not go to Sunday school? How can you not? And it's about learning. We're supposed to want to learn. But like I said, and a lot of people just shut it off. Well, if they're not coming, we're going to stop doing it. When we were going, we at the last ministry was at, we were doing it, and then they stopped because nobody was coming. Elder Kirk was teaching, somebody else was teaching, but we were just teaching each other. I said, iron sharpening iron, but the people that needed, they just came because why? They wanted to hear the pastor. They wasn't worried about everybody else. So even the pastor said, hey, y'all need to come to Sunday school. Guess what? Ain't nobody come to Sunday school. Oh, who teach?